Renato was a loving, caring father and a husband. He was kind and generous and had a sense of humor. He would take us to church every special the holidays. How I met Renato. I was at my parents' home with my kids. My cousin Agustin introduced Renato to me and also met my parents and my family. My cousin lived nearby. Renato was working in the Philippines Airlines as a supplier. He came to United States as a tourist. We started dating when he met me. He fell in love with me. After a few months, we got married in December 4, 1972. We call each other darling. Growing up, Renato told me he grew up with his cousin Piping, who owns a car rental business and helped him out in Manila, Philippines, before he came to US. When he was young, he liked swimming, dancing, and going out to parties and work. When we got married, we lived in an apartment close to my work. My brother Kuya Romy recommended Renato to his friend who worked at Pedro, and he got hired at La Cienega branch as a salesman. After a few months, he got promoted to be manager at Pasadena branch. Then later to Costa Mesa and lastly Cerritos, where he worked the most because we bought a house in Cerritos in 1979. He worked there from 1972 to 2000 because the store closed down. Car salesman. After a few months, he got hired at Nissan of Cerritos for 1 year. Then he started working for Toyota dealership, Power Toyota of Cerritos, and had training at Toyota University, which he earned a lot of awards and certification for being a top car salesman. He worked there for a few years. Then in 2008, we moved to the city of Corona. In 2011, he worked in quality Toyota in Corona, and then after a year, he worked in Claremont Toyota. His hobbies as a family, we went to church on Sundays. After holidays, we went to Vegas, Disneyland, Roseburg Parade to wash the clothes, cherry picking. He loved going to the beach and had a picnic, watching movies at drive-in and in the movie theaters. Pichanga. He especially enjoyed fishing and singing karaoke. He loves dedicating his songs to me. As handyman, he loved working around the house. He built storage cabinet in the garage, in the most bedroom, and then built a kitchen island in Cerritos. Then in Corona, he built the stairway. Health. Over the years, he was strong and healthy, but in 2021, he had a kidney failure and had to go to dialysis. Later on, he was unable to drive. He was showing signs of dementia. Then after the new year 2000, January 27, 2025, he passed away peacefully at home. Jokes. Renato loves to laugh. Sometimes accidentally burp and loud, and he jokes about it. Missing him. I'm going to miss celebrating holidays and birthdays with the family. I'm going to miss him. Believe me, he loves me, and that I look beautiful. I'm going to miss him cooking. He loves to cook. Adobo, chicken, afritada, kare-kare, and I'm going to miss his singing songs to me. Miss watching TV and movies together with him and talking a lot. His motto most of the time is, if you're happy, I'm happy. I'm never going to forget, I'm never gonna forget our happy memories together with our family and when we were young and up to now. He always tells me he loves me and said, when he's gone, you will miss me and cry. You're only wife for me. Renato, darling, I miss you. I love you. Rest in peace in heaven and now with Tony.
Now it's Raymond's turn.
Love you, darling. I miss you.
That was a good speech. It's really gonna miss you. We always loved you, Mom. Even when it's not yours, it's always gonna be in your heart of kids. Hi everyone. My name is Raymond. I'm from Renato. I just want to say thank you all for attending my dad's service and being here. Some of you traveled from far away, so I thank you so much. For my dad, he was born in Caloocan, Quezon, in the Philippines. His birthday is on March 6, 1945. My dad is 79 years old, and just in a few days, he would have been 80. His parents are Gregorio and mother Leonel Fernandez. He has 6 siblings, 3 brothers. My Tito Romy, my Tito Gregorio Jr., and Tito Nilo, who recently passed 3 years ago. Rest in peace, Uncle. My dad has 3 sisters. Tita Betty, who we also lost in 2008. Rest in peace, Auntie. And his other 2 sisters, Tita Nympha and Tita Merch. Let's see right here. So my mom, she already talked about where my dad worked. As my dad's personality, he had a great sense of humor. He loves to talk a lot and annoy my mom with his jokes. My dad was a hard worker and he cared for his family very much. He adored my mom, Esther, and loved his kids, his 3 daughters, Misty, Davina, and Jeanette, and 2 sons, which is me, Raymond, and my older brother, Tony, who we also lost 3 years ago because of COVID. He's another loss that was unexpected, and I miss you so much. I miss you so much, brother. When we lived in Cerritos, my dad took our family to Holy Family Church, and we made it a tradition to go to midnight mass. My dad never complained. He always went above and beyond. He always had a great attitude and a bedside manner. My dad worked a 9 to 6 p.m. job. When he lived in Cerritos and he worked nearby, my mom worked swing shifts. So on his lunch break, he would take her to work and pick her up at 11 p.m. at night. He did that for several years. What I love about my dad, he did the best raising 5 kids. And he would plan quick getaway trips to Vegas. And I remember that Circus was our go-to spot. When we moved to the city of Corona in 2008, he enjoyed going to Pachanga, especially when he went. When my dad was younger, he loved to visit his family and relatives in San Francisco. We would drive, all of us, on a trip heading up north. We used to do cherry picking at Victorville, went to Disneyland, like my mom said, and have a picnic and barbecue at Dana Point Beach. Back then, he would have my family and I watch movies at the drive-in. I would never forget our yellow Subaru that we were in. He enjoyed fishing. I remember that he would take my mom and my brother Tony to Huntington Beach Pier, sometimes fish all day, even throughout the night. One thing he used to enjoy so much was singing karaoke. He enjoyed singing love songs and dedicate every song to my mom. His favorite music artists were Frank Sinatra, Barry Manilow, Kenny Rogers, and Lionel Richie. I remember that I would really get really tired hearing his songs in the car in our long road trips. I haven't listened to his music in years. I dug up his cassettes with his recordings, and I used them on that slideshow that you guys were watching. It just made sense to do it because he loved to sing. Now it's worth everything to me, and it's a treasure. When I was a kid, I wasn't really into karaoke, but as I got older, he inspired me that it's great therapy, and he taught me that in order to sing better, you have to sing from your heart, telling its story. My dad's favorite sport was boxing. He loves to eat. He loves mostly Asian food. He loves going to Chinatown, loves enjoying to eat siopao and siomai. I would drive to LA some weekends with him to buy it and eat it in the car before we head home. He was so thankful each time we go there. He loves soup like sinigang, and he loves Vietnamese pho. But when he had dialysis, he had a fluid restriction, so I had to remind him, you can't have so much of that. My dad was a handyman, and he loved painting the house. He loved sewing, and he loved altering pants. He did our curtains and Cerritos, and he built our kitchen island. So, I mean, he was pretty handy. Do you guys want to hear some funny stories real quick about my dad? I wrote them down.
Yeah, just
I remember when we were Cerritos, my mom was sitting on a rocking chair while watching the news. The newscaster said there was a lot of strong winds going on. And my mom was rocking her chair like crazy, saying, "Oh my gosh, it's so windy." And that made him laugh so much. He loved sharing stories at the dinner table about work. He was telling me that he was talking to this old man, and he said, "Wow, you're buying this car for your daughter? She must be so happy." He said, "She better be, because that's my wife." My dad felt so bad that he made a mistake. He had to hold his laughter, and then he told him, when he was telling us, it was just cracking up so much. There was a time when he used to tell me that I looked like a toothpick at one point. He always would tell me, "Raymond, eat now." And fast forward to the present, when my metabolism slowed down, I remember my parents will be at the dinner table and heard my mom saying, "Raymond, eat now." I heard my dad say, "No, it's late. He has to stop eating. He's getting tabak. He's getting fat. Don't do it." I told my dad that I heard you. I said, "Dad, I heard you," and he would have a big smirk on his face. Another time was he was in the backyard I was doing my workout regimen. I started for the new year, so I wanted to get fit and everything. He usually sits in the living room, but he could see and peek see me from the backyard. And so I wasn't having privacy. So I went to work out at the side of the house where he didn't see me. Not knowing that he took a smoke break, he looked over to the side of the fence and he says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Dad, it's an exercise called burpees." He said, he looked at me and for his head to side, "I know, but how are you going to lose weight doing that?" So he was pretty funny. My dad, he just made me laugh. And then he made me traumatized doing that workout. Another funny time was in recent years, he started to lose his hearing. He was cooking me breakfast downstairs while I was getting ready for work upstairs. He shouted out loud, "Do you want me to cook you some eggs and bacon?" I said, "Yes, Dad, I want breakfast." He couldn't hear me. He was like, "Huh? What?" I said, "Yes, I want breakfast. I want eggs and bacon." And he said, "Okay, but you don't have to yell at me, darn it." So he was just really funny, and that is one thing about me, and he always made me laugh, So pretty much, that's it, I'm gonna miss my dad so much, and I know right now, He's in heaven. He's a guardian angel, and he's watching us. And I'm gonna miss you so much, man. You know, his death just went so fast. I just know that with life and everything, you just have to tell everybody, you know, you have to tell them you love them, you know, before it's too late. And then sometimes you feel like you regret not doing so much. But I know that, you know, I did my best, and he appreciates it. It was hard, but I just remember him taking care of me when I was a little kid, and taking me to every doctor's appointment when I was sick. I had allergies so bad, and then fast forward, I was taking him when he was having his kidney failure, and I just told him, you know, Dad, he was being very thankful that I was taking him to his doctor's appointment. I said, Dad, I remember you used to take me when I was a kid, so of course I'm going to take you to his appointment. Sometimes he'll forget that I'm taking him to his appointment, and I'm like, we're here, okay, but I'm staying in the car. I said, no, this is your appointment. But I really am going to miss him so much. Dad, I love you. Rest in peace. Love you, Dad.
Thank you so much.
Alright. 7:14 p.m. Now it's about to be 7:15. Exactly 7:15.
Hi, everybody. Does anyone want to speak? Sharing stories about my dad? Great for you. Okay.
I guess. I don't.
Hi, my name is Jeanette, and I'm the youngest daughter. And then I would just like to say thank you for everyone who took the time to make it here. I miss my dad so much, and I know he's in a better place, not suffering anymore. My dad used to always spoil me when I was young. Anytime when I was sad, he would always buy me my favorite food. Sometimes barbecue chicken and chicken littles from Kentucky Fried Chicken. He always worried about me, us being hungry at home, and would always cook. No matter how tired he worked from long shifts, he always took care of us. And I always waited up until my dad came home from work just to know that he was safe coming home, because he worked late at night. My dad always cared how I felt and was always patient. No matter how stressed he was with work or money, he was always calm. My dad would always just cool off and have a cigarette, and that was his thing to relax. I remember all the moments always going to the grocery store with him. A lot of his favorite things he used to do is fishing, singing karaoke, shining his shoes for work, washing the car, watering the plants, and of course smoking his favorite cigarettes, Marlboro Reds 100s. And how can I forget going to casinos to play the slot machines? I will never forget when every time my dad will start singing, picking a song to sing for karaoke, he always say, I dedicate this song to my darling, lovely wife, Esther. No matter how much my mom always give my dad a hard time, he always played it cool. My dad was a working man. He loved always working hard. He's the kind of person that working hard was an accomplishment. As my dad got older and being retired, he started getting limited to the things he liked to do. It was so hard to see each time I seen him, he was getting limited to the things he likes to do every day. All of a sudden, he wasn't able to drive, cook, mow the lawn, smoke, the simplest things. and there he was only able to go to the restroom and only sit on the couch. It was very hard to see my dad because he was struggling the last couple of years of his life. So I know my dad can now rest in peace and smoke all the cigarettes he wants in heaven.
I don't know.
I love you, Dad,
Really?
forever. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for coming to my dad, Renato's vigil tonight. My name is Ernestine Elmadrid. I am the eldest daughter. He had a total of 5 children. Me, Tony, Davina, Raymond, and Jeanette. He also had 3 son-in-laws, John, Noel, and Sal, and 2 daughter-in-laws, Yvonne and Melanie. My mom had 3 children before he met my dad. I was 6 years old when they met. They dated for a few months and then they got married. After they got married, they moved into an apartment on the same street in LA. In 1976, David was born, and that same year we moved to the city of Liverpool. In 1979, we moved to the city of Cerritos. And in 1982, Jeanette was born. Dad worked at Fedco and was manager at the shooting department. He worked in that role for about 25 years. In the year 2000, they moved to the city of Artesia, and at that same year, he worked as a car salesman at Toyota of Cerritos. In 2008, they moved to the city of Corona. By the end of 2019, Dad and Mom had a total of 11 grandchildren, starting from the eldest to the youngest. Their names are Jessica, Gerald, Keanu, Danu, Danica, Dylan, Kainoa, Malik, Celine, Kailea, and Chad. While growing up, the memories that I most remember about Dad was every year we would go on road trips to Vegas. He also has taken us to Disneyland, SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, just to name a few. We also went to the mountains to play in the snow during the winter times, but it wasn't often. We also went on out on the field. I forget what it's called, but we were doing our picking cherries off the tree. We did that a few times that I could remember. He has taken us to the beach a few times as well, and I think that I could remember most was especially the beach called Doheny Beach. Those were fun times. Dad also liked to go fishing. There was one time he took the entire family to Salton Sea. That year was 1981. It was one of the hottest days in the summer. Dad also loves to cook. He loves to cook for the family. His specialties were nilaga, pancit, kare-kare, chicken adobo. I remember one time Mom asked, "What's for dinner?" And Dad said, "Chicken adobo." Mom said, "Chicken again? If we eat that so much, we're gonna fly." Last year, he showed me how to cook chicken out of spelbo. I think that was the last dish I ate. In 2020, I noticed Dad's health that he was getting weaker. I know he tried to stay strong for Mom. There were a few times I would see Dad singing to Mom when I stopped by to visit. He always loves to sing to Mom. He was very loving to Mom. Thank you, Dad, for all the delicious food you cooked for us. We really miss that. We all love you. We miss you, Dad. My dad was a great man. He was a provider, a protector, a hard worker, an excellent cook, and handyman.
He worked at the Good Studios for many years. Although it was just down the street from her house, he worked a lot. He worked 10-hour shifts, 6 days a week, and only had Wednesdays off. Do you think that he would rest on his day off? No, he did not.
Still trying.
He would keep himself busy by doing home improvements. He would build a storage cabinet in the garage, paint the kitchen cupboards, steam clean the carpets, maintain the landscape outside by mowing the lawn and trimming the trees and rose bushes. One thing I missed when I moved out of the house and got married was his home cooking. He made the best breaded pork chops and fried chicken besides the traditional Filipino dishes. He loved to cook and always made sure there was food on the table. When I was 6 years old and lived in Uruguay, I went into the kitchen one day while my dad was cooking. I went straight to the dining table and saw a bowl of corned beef. My dad turned around and said a word, did not say a word, but watched me put a spoonful in my mouth. As you see, it wasn't corned beef. It was buffalo. If no one knows what that is, it's a very salty shrimp paste that you should only eat a little bit at a time with your food. My dad just started laughing and so hard, and I cheered up and took it out of my mouth. He said, now you won't remember what corned beef looks like. About the same age, I lost my first tooth, but it didn't fall off on its own. It was loose, but not loose enough. So my dad helped me. So he helped me. He was like a dentist. He got a long piece of string and tied one of the ends to my tooth and one of the ends to the doorknob. He counted 1, 2, 3 and slammed the door, and there goes my tooth. I started crying, but he said, don't worry, the tooth fairy is coming, which she did. My dad had several hobbies. He loved to go fishing. He would wake up early in the morning to prepare for his fishing trip. He enjoyed it because it was peaceful and relaxing. He loved watching boxing, and this was when before Pacquiao was discovered. At the time, it was Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard. He would watch. He loved to sing. I think he invented karaoke because he would take the microphone and plug it into the stereo, which was connected to the big speaker. Before he would start to sing, he would hold the mic to his mouth. He would clear his throat and say 1, 2, 3, and then say, I dedicate this song to my darling wife, Esther. The last time I saw my dad was at Christmas. When it was time to eat, he walked from the couch to the dining room table with no assistance from us or used a walker. He was walking so fast to the table, I didn't even realize. I didn't realize because he was so hungry. I told my dad, wow, you look good without any help. After he ate, he went straight back to the couch. Then about 10 minutes later, my mom wanted to take pictures. And she called my dad to go back to the dining table. And there goes my dad on the couch, and he says, I'm too weak, I can't get up. I just shook my head and started laughing because my dad knows it won't just be one picture that will be taken. I really miss my dad, but I know you are not suffering anymore. I know you will not be able to last 20 years with you. I love you, Dad. Rest in peace.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Jonathan. I'm MST's husband. First and foremost, thank you for being here. The fondest moment I have with my father-in-law is that he treated me like his own son. What it is that the most proud event that my father-in-law had is when he became a grandfather for the first time. We have Jessica right here. That was his first granddaughter. And Gerald right here was his first grandson. I know that moment my father-in-law was proud of me as MC for giving them the grandkids. Moving on, my fondest moment is we were looking forward on Friday nights and Saturday nights, after my after work, going all the way to, I live in Corona, going all the way to Norwalk, El Cerritos, just to visit them. Why? Because me and my brother-in-law right there, we're looking forward to always play basketball in Liberty Park and see mom and dad during those days. Really not because to play basketball, it's because to visit them on dinner time. Because my father-in-law is the best cook. We always look forward to his cooking on Friday nights. And that was one of the fondest moments we had, spending time with him during those days. And at the same time, having our kids enjoy them. So once again, I just want to, say thank you for being here. And Dad, thank you for loving me as your own son. In fact, you love me so much that you actually think I am your own son, because when me and my wife has arguments, he actually defends me. Seriously, and that is the truth. So Dad, thank you for being there, for being with me, for being always there when we need you. Rest in peace. Just wanted to see, does anybody else want to share a memory, or anything? You guys are able to.
Another one?
Hello there, I am Renato's granddaughter. My grandpa was a very happy and cheerful man.
I wish.
I remember when I was very young, we used to go to holiday parties and go to my grandma and grandpa.
Thank you. I don't really think.
I remember the first thing we do is go hug grandma and grandpa. Sometimes it's about smoking, but but he was very happy and always cracked up jokes. I remember always seeing him watch TV and having a good time. At one point, when he did work at
But they're. Thank you.
when he worked at Cerritos in Toyota, my mom would always make, especially for him, we'd always go and she'd watch videos on how to make rice wrapped spring rolls. I would try mom, and then she'd even call my grandpa on the phone trying to talk about, oh yeah, we're gonna visit you and stuff, and I'd always be excited to go there in the car. We jump in, we go like a city over to Cerritos into the dealership and drive into there. I miss seeing him all the time going to Cerritos and doing him. He'd always be happy to see us and give us a bright smile. And the joy in his face made me happy. And as we drive along, I'll be like, oh, hopefully we get some.
This is the. This is the. No, it's. No, it's.
Even though at the parties I may have not remembered or seen the food, he had an effect on my mom and was able to give me some Filipino food from her mom's food that she learned. I love my mom's cooking, and with my grandpa, I enjoyed my food also. Even though we only visit him on holidays or just go to the parties, he also had a hand in
raising me through my mom. My mom very much. Because first, as memory she had when she was younger, and grandma and grandpa always gave her. I miss not being able to see him at the parties and not being able to hug him, but I will miss him and hopefully he's in good hands.
All right. I guess I'll stop it right here then. Guess that's it.